A very good morning to all the students of PUC second year Arts, Science and Commerce. I am Muhammad Ghulam Rabbani from Department of English, working at Nehru Arts, Science and Commerce College, Khantikeri, Hubli. Dear students, today I would like to engage a class relating to a lesson, that is lesson number 7, The Gardener. So, The Gardener is written by P. Lankesh. As I have been telling you that whenever you are going to write for 4 marks questions, you have to write a few lines about the writer as well. So, P. Lankesh was born in the year 1935 and died in 2000. Is an Indian writer and journalist who wrote in the Kannada language. So he was Indian writer and journalist, and basically he used to write in Kannada language. The lesson The Gardener is by P. Lankesh. So it is written by P. Lankesh and it is the story of an old man whom the author met in Chindrayapatan. So this story is all about an old man whom the author met in Chindrayapatan, a name of a place. The old man had come from far away to work in the garden. So there is an old man who came from far away to work in the garden. He was well versed in agriculture and the management of workers. But the old man was well versed in agriculture and he was very good management of workers too. So why the old man had come to the garden for work? Later on you will come to know that. Who was the old man? So the owner gradually began to feel free and became lazy. So when the old man came, he took the charge of gardening and plantation. The owner of the plantation, the owner of the garden became very lethargic, became very lazy. He was not working now. Earlier he was very much busy in working, but now he is not working because the old man has taken the charge and he is working. So the owner of the plantation became very lazy. The profit of the garden also improved and petty thefts were brought down. So the profit of the garden also improved a lot due to the arrival of the old man, because he was well versed in agriculture. He knew everything about agriculture, and that due to that only the profit of the garden also improved. The owner started neglecting the garden and got addicted to bad habits. But the owner of the garden, he neglected the gardening and got addicted to bad habits. So he involved in bad habits. He was drinking, he became alcoholic, womanizer, and going from one place to another place, wasting his time, attending parties and neglecting his wife and children too. So it is the human nature that once a man gets money, he becomes rich, he forgets about his past and he behaves and his attitudes changes. So likewise, you can find here that the owner of the garden, his habits, his attitude has been changed because he became a rich man because of the arrival of the old man, because he improved his agriculture, he improved his gardening, and he got all the benefits. So the owner of the plantations, he addicted with all the bad habits. That's why his wife was very much worried, and she was not sure whether the old man's arrival was good or bad. So wife was very much worried about her husband, because he addicted with all the bad habits. So she was thinking that whether the arrival of the old man was good or bad, because due to the arrival of the old man, her husband changed. Understanding her concern, the old man narrated to her a story. So one day, when the old man saw the face of the owner's wife, she was looking very much worried. The old man narrated a story to her. So there is a story within the story. So what was the story that was narrated by the old man to the wife of the owner? Once there was a village and two rivals there. So the old man was narrating a story to the owner's wife that once upon a time there was a village and there used to be two rivals, two enemies, and they are Tamanna and Baswaya. So Tamanna owned 1000 acres and Baswaya 800 acres. So he was narrating a story of two rivals, that was Tamanna and Baswaya. They were not friends, but they were rivals of purchasing lands. And earlier they were not so rich. Tamanna was having only 10 acres of land, but later on there was a rivalry between Tamanna and Baswaya, and that's why there was a competition between them. Tamanna started purchasing land and Baswaya also followed the same, and finally Tamanna purchased 1000 acres of land and Baswaya 800 acres. So a jealous Baswaya coveted more and attacked Tamanna and forcibly acquired 200 acres. So Baswaya was very much jealous because he was 200 acres land. He wanted 200 acres land to equal Baswaya, and he sent a message also to Tamanna that Tamanna should sell 200 acres of land to Baswaya. But Tamanna did not agree with that. That's why a jealous Baswaya, he captured Tamanna's 200 acres of land forcibly, and at first Tamanna tried to get back his land through various means. So at first Tamanna tried to get back his land through various means, legals and by force, all in vain. So he tried to back his land by using various means like legals and by force, and even his men, his followers, suggested him to go and to capture the land. But he was a different kind of person. So Tamanna started to compose ballads on the evil nature of Baswaya. So what Tamanna did that, instead of fighting with him, he started composing ballads. He started composing poems, and he was mentioning the evil nature of Baswaya. He was mentioning the bad nature of Baswaya in his poems, and his misdeeds and not tolerate it. And he was also mentioning the misdeeds of Basvaya, evil nature of Basvaya, and started singing them. And he started singing his ballads. He became very, very famous. So this made him more famous in the surrounding villages, and Basvaya could not tolerate it. So due to these poems, Tamanna became very much famous surrounding his villages, and Basvaya could not tolerate it because Basvaya was a rival of Tamanna. He was enemy of Tamanna, and he wanted to overcome. He wanted to surpass Tamanna. That's why he could not tolerate the popularity of Tamanna. He paid people to praise him, all to no avail. So what he did that, Basvaya, he used to pay the people to praise him, all to no avail, but it was waste. It was futile because Tamanna was having the good quality, and good always wins over bad. Meanwhile, Tamanna realized the futility of all these, stopped writing ballads, and thought that death was the final solution to end their rivalry. So Tamanna realized futility of all these. He realized that all the popularity, the ballads, and the mentioning of meanness, all are futile, all are waste. So he stopped writing ballads. So now he stopped writing and composing poems or ballads, and thought that death was the final solution to end their rivalry. He thought that death would be the final solution to end their rivalry. And what he did, that he went away from their village. He disappeared from his village, and Basvaya, without a good competition and meaning for his life, got bored and died away. So when Basvaya, he found that there is no Tamanna, and without Tamanna there was no good competition, there was no meaning for his life. He was surviving because of the rivalry. He wanted to surpass Tamanna, but there is no Tamanna now. Tamanna has been disappeared from his village, and Tamanna forgot his songs and ballads and became a non-entity. So Tamanna, he forgot all his songs and ballads and became non-entity, became non-existence. Once upon a time he was landlord. He was the owner of 1000 acres of land. But now, after the death of Basvaya, he thought that there is no entity, there is no existence of his life. He was regretting that why he did all those things. And finally he became non-existence. By telling this story, the old man told that he was none other than the Tamanna, and asked the owner's wife to forget the story. So by telling this story, the old man who was narrating this story told the owner's wife that he was none other than Tamanna. It means that he was narrating his own story. Once upon a time, the old man was a great man. He was a landlord. He was the competitor. He was the rival of Basvaya. But now he became an entity and became an old man. and he was gardening. He became a laborer and doing agriculture and earning little money to survive. He left all his wealth and he narrated his own story to the owner's wife that the old man that he was narrating the story is none other than Tamanna himself. The message of the story is that man has to adapt to the situation, otherwise he could not survive in the world. So what is the message? The message of this story is that man has to adjust with the situation, otherwise he could not survive in the world. So that was the message of the story. So dear students, again I would like to engage this class in detail in coming days. Even I have to complete the grammar portion as well. So try to finish all your portions as early as possible so that I can engage classes relating to your workbook. So let me stop for the day. I will continue to the next class.